I recently read the book Extreme Ownership: How U.S. Navy SEALs Lead and Win. As leaders of the Special Forces operations in Iraq, authors and Navy SEALs Leif Babin and Jocko Willink were given the ultimate leadership test: lead Special Forces in one of the most complex, high-stakes, and chaotic environments imaginable: urban warfare in Ramadi, Iraq. See, in 2008, Ramadi was the hotspot of the Iraq War. The U.S. was seeing heavy casualties, and the enemy was learning advanced military tactics. As the fighting raged on, Leif and Jocko discovered time and time again that their success and the success of the Special Forces relied on one core philosophy: extreme ownership, accepting responsibility of everything that's gone wrong or could go wrong. This philosophy was put to the test on one particular incident for Jocko in eastern Ramadi. As the sun rose, Navy SEAL sniper teams were instructed to go and clear out buildings and set up positions. A group of U.S. Army ground troops and friendly Iraq soldiers were to arrive in the area hours later to engage the enemy. As Jocko stood by in Central Command, he could hear intense chatter erupt over the radio. One of the friendly Iraq soldiers had been shot, and both the Navy SEAL sniper team and the troops on the ground were engaged in heavy fighting. The sniper team called in heavy armor support. The troops on the ground called in an airstrike on one particular building. Jocko knew something wasn't quite right. He delayed the airstrike and he went to the battlefield. When he arrived, he went to the point where the sniper team was supposed to be and discovered that the troops on the ground weren't firing on the enemy. They were firing on the Navy SEAL team inside that building. After the incident, Jocko went back to Central Command and opened up an email from his commanding officer. It read, "Shut down. Conduct no more operations. Investigating officer, Command Master Chief, and I are en route." The senior leaders were determined to find who was responsible for such a horrible event. As Jocko pored over the details and tried to piece together who was ultimately responsible, it dawned on him. He was. If his team was to move forward and bounce back from this, he had to take full ownership of everything that went wrong. Even though it was a dynamic situation with many people at fault and circumstances he could not control, as the leader, he had to take the blame to start the process of ensuring that it never happened again. As he stood in front of his team and in front of high-ranking military officials, he told them, "As the senior man, I am responsible for every action that takes place on the battlefield. There is no one to blame but me. And I will tell you this right now. I will make sure that nothing like this ever happens to us again." Jocko put his reputation and his career on the line. But then something strange happened. His team didn't simply let him take the blame. They stood up for him. They vowed to help him. It turns out that when one person takes ownership, it allows everyone to take ownership, and the team can work together towards a common goal. But until that time, each team member is simply trying to save face. And those high-ranking military officials, his superiors, they trusted him more, not less. Because when you take 100% ownership, even when it's easy to cast blame, you allow progress to happen. You stop wasting energy on casting blame and looking for excuses or complaining about circumstance, and you take corrective action. If you care about making progress in any area of your life, you need to have the courage to take responsibility for everything that's gone wrong. It won't seem fair, it's not going to be easy, but it's something you must do. Because when the blaming starts, progress stops. So if you're not getting the resources you need at work, stop blaming your boss and instead own the problem. Take it upon yourself to learn the skills necessary to influence and persuade him or her, or make it your job to find alternate ways of getting the job done. If you don't have enough time throughout the day to focus on your health, stop wasting energy blaming your current circumstance. Instead, learn time management skills, set priorities and say no to everything else. Or get up early and make sure you take care of your health first thing. Only when you own the problem can you discover the solution. By taking ownership of the tragic friendly fire incident, Jocko was able to save lives going forward. He put plans in place to make sure that friendly fire incidents would never escalate to that level again. He went back to the West Coast after his tours in Iraq and trained Navy SEALs to notice friendly fire situations. The authors say, the leader must own everything in his or her world. There is no one else to blame. The leader must acknowledge mistakes and admit failures, take ownership over them, and develop a plan to win. That was the core message that I gathered from Jocko and Leif's great book. Their book contains timeless and powerful leadership philosophies that you can use in your daily life. I highly recommend it. If you would like a one-page PDF summary of the leadership lessons that I gathered from Extreme Ownership, just click the link below and I'll be happy to email it to you. If you already subscribe to the free Productivity Game newsletter, this PDF is already in your inbox. Thanks for watching.